everybody, Mikey from Mikey's Mail, and of course all my friends at allfreecrochet.com and I tell you, that is a mouthful. I dare you to say it 3 times. In today's tutorial, we're actually going to be doing 3 separate videos with the same intro. And what we want to do is we want to concentrate on how to put a granny square blanket together. In this method that you see here, we have your single crochet. And basically the single crochet is coming together. Okay, and it's going to form like a window. So on one side, it looks completely perfect, but on the other, you'll see that there's like grooves and everything happening in between. So that is single crochet. In method number 2, we're going to talk about how to continuously join all your squares together. So when you get to the right diameter, we can just sew it, or we can actually crochet it all together at the same time, so you can keep working like that. And then finally, method number 3, we're actually going to be sewing them together. And I don't really like that method too much, but those are the 3 methods. So let's get started on this tutorial. With the single crochet method, all you need to do is assemble all your squares all up front. So you have them for your complete pattern, and then you just work on putting them together. So it actually, you end up with a stack of granny squares that you can put together in the end. You just have to be careful when you're actually doing this blanket. Your blanket actually looks different on either side. Because you're always continually working in a rotation, the one side of your square will look completely different than the other, and that's just the way that the strings are forming together when you're crocheting. So when you go to put this down on the floor or on a table to assemble it, you have to make sure that all your squares are actually turned in the right direction, depending on what kind you're looking. If you're not looking for uniform, it doesn't matter, just throw it down. But if you're actually looking for your blanket to look consistent, then you're going to be wanting to pay attention to that. In method number 1, we're actually going to assemble all of our squares. We're going to get all of our borders to equal the same colors if you so desire it. It's very difficult if you're not going to have the same colors for the boundaries, that it will look actually very consistent, but that's your call, that you're the artist, you decide what's right for you. Now, because when you were crocheting this, you were completely going in circles like this, you'll notice that each side looks completely different. One side, on the far side, will look a lot more tighter than the side that is facing you when you've been working on it. And you'll notice that it kind of does somewhat of a bowl shape on the side that you've been working on all the time. So the first idea is get all of your squares and make sure that they all look the same. So for example, I don't know if you'll be able to tell that, but you can see that it doesn't look the same, but maybe that's what you're going for. And you have to decide what's right for you. So that's step number 1. When we go to work on this, this will be an entire blanket for you when you're doing this step number 1. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to work in the horizontal direction, so basically straight across. So you'll want to have all your squares lined up for you, basically working your way across. So what's going to happen is you're going to go all the way across, and then you're going to come back up to the next one, go all the way across. So you'll end up, and eventually you'll have everything fastened across in one direction, but you'll have gaps left over in the middle. So that's no big deal. So what you want to do is you want to concentrate on getting these 2 to line up together. So this is the side I want, this is the side I want. So I want to kind of push up and cause it to fold up like this. So therefore you know that you're actually going to be doing it, because when you go to put it back down, it'll be on the same side. So just push up like a sandwich, just like so. And now what you're going to be able to see is that the gaps are actually aligning with each other on the edges. Now that the gaps are aligned, you just got to start off with a slip knot and begin. So back over the forward, back up and in. There's other tutorials on how to do slip knots if you don't know how to do it by now. And basically you want to start off on the very corner. So just stick it right into the gap, right into the corner, just like so. And now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet ourselves all the way across. So pull the material through and through. So now that you know that each square is identical in size and that the gaps all match each other, what you want to do is work your way across. So in the next, see, right into the next stitch available, right on the first one, you're going to go into the next stitch available on the second, so you're matching it completely in line. So pull the material and then pull through. It's a single crochet. So going into the next stitch in the front one, the next stitch in the back one, pulling it through, and pull it through. And now again, because you have 3 in a row, you're going to have a 3 in a row when you go to attach. In this particular example, and I show you how to do these exact squares before. And now this is the gap, so why not just go right into the gap itself,
pulling it through and pulling through. And the reason why I did that is that I want that gap to maintain when I go to open it back up. So let's continue again. So going into the next stitch available on the first one, the next one on the back, and you just want to keep those perfectly in line with each other. Okay, now that we're into the next gap, so let's go into the next gap completely. So back in and around. See, and that's kind of like your holiday in between each one. So the next stitch again, and continue to work until you get to the last square, and we'll meet up, and then we'll join the second one. So I'm coming up to the very last ones here. I'm just going into the last few stitches, and then of course this is the last one before the gap. And the gap is really important because that's what is going to teach you. So now we want to go right into the gap, and that'll be the last time that you go into this on this angle, so on this horizontal. So now what we want to do is attach. So get to the next one here. So these are your next one that are waiting. Do the sandwich effect so that you know that both squares are facing in the same direction, and then just go completely into the gap of the sandwich. So gap and gap, just like so. And now let's grab the material again and single crochet, and make sure when you go to do that that you don't end up with it being too loose, because this is a critical point in between each one. So basically go across on this line again, putting single crochets into each matching of the front and the forward, and you're going to find that you're going to get yourself into a rhythm that'll be really quick and easy. So continue along. So this is what you need to do to go in this direction. So there's the gap. Let's go into gap on both sides. So basically what you'll end up with is that one side will be fastened with this groove and the other side won't be. So when I go to turn it over, it'll be completely flat on this side. So continue that. I'll meet you back up at the end just to make sure you did it right, and we'll continue along and we'll do the other direction. So I'm just finishing up, and I just got a couple more to go. So the last matching, and of course the very last gap. Don't forget about that last gap. And now we want to cast off. So just taking your scissors over your hand. You know, this is a blanket. I would be very inclined, if I were you, to want to tie it together. So just bringing the material through. And just be like so. So just, I would give it a tie right at the edge, but do not cut your string too loose. Or too, don't cut it too short, and then just weave in your end into your project. So we teach you how to weave in other tutorials, so just continue to weave those in, and we're going to turn our project and we're going to concentrate. So you can see now that if I did the next one up, you're going to have these all attaching together in one direction, and they'll all be empty in this direction. So let's get on with the next part. So finish that casting off and then continue with your next. So what we're going to just do is just turn your project now and work back in the horizontal going in another direction. I already have my hook already started up, and basically you want to line up again the front gap. So you can push it up like a sandwich. It really doesn't matter anymore because you've fastened down one side, there's no possibility that you're actually going to fasten the wrong side now. So just grabbing the gap to gap, sticking your needle in, and of course start beginning to do your single crochet. So in, through. Okay, and now we're just going to match each stitch like we did before. So the front one, the front, the back. Okay, and then you've got the gap again. So we're just going to go right into the gap. Now, you know, usually all my tutorials I have the screen behind me. I'm sitting comfortably on a chair demonstrating for you. I found that assembling granny squares, I prefer to stand up on a high table or a counter just to be able to see what's going on. When fastening together, I get kind of worried that I might fasten the wrong size, so I pay attention more by standing up. And it doesn't really take that much time to stand up to assemble. The more time in this project is actually making your separate squares. So let's fast forward this video, and we'll go to where we're going to jump in between the squares. So now we're just about to finish off before jumping over, and now this is where we got to pay attention. That was the last stitch, and you're going to of course do the gap. You can see the gap, And now what I did on the last one is that I just chained one. So just chain one, just to jump over the other groove that's already in there, and then of course fold the next one up in single crochet. So I can just chain one and go over it. I found that when I didn't not chain one, that it just pulled it a little bit tighter than I really wanted it to be. So you just continue along, the stitch, match stitch from the front. When you get to the gap, just do one. And the reason why we're only doing one in the gap, do you remember? That's because we only put chain one in between each of the three. So you're kind of maintaining the pattern on your border. So let's fast forward and finish off, cast off like you did before, like I showed you, and I'm going to show you what this project looked like on both front and back sides. So now you can see that the grooves are on both sides. It looks kind of a window, so if you had a whole blanket of that, just like I showed you in the intro, you're going to have a whole square or the whole granny square blanket where the grooves are up, and on the other side will be perfectly. Now you have all these stragglers there. You can deal with that after you're done, and wonderful effect on one side. And I don't mind the grooves on this project either. It actually gives a little bit of an element of surprise depending on which way that you wanted to display this project. So you can even see that the squares look different no matter what side you are. So the other side looks tight, this one doesn't look as tight, but either side just looks fabulous. So good luck with that, and I hope you have a great day today.